Andrew Foster from Spirit River Music and Woodworks, and I'd like to take a moment to tell you how to properly care for a wooden cutting board like this one.
Rule number 1 of cutting board care is that you should never, under any circumstances, put anything wooden into the dishwasher. Two of the most damaging things to wood are moisture and heat, which a dishwasher produces in excess. So never put wood into the dishwasher unless you want to completely destroy it, which would be sad.
I make two different types of cutting boards, the edge grain cutting board and the end grain cutting board. If you're curious about what sets the two apart, I have another video where I explain in detail the differences between the two. What is not different, however, is the care. There are two major elements to cutting board care: cleaning and conditioning. The cleaning should be done whenever you use it, and you can just use dish soap and water. And since we never put anything wooden in the dishwasher, you will want to hand wash it. Let's see how to do that.
Washing a cutting board is actually quite simple and can be done with water and standard dish soap. First, soak down the board with warm water. Do this to both sides. Next, using a sponge and some dish soap, scrub the board thoroughly, making sure to cover the entire surface. For tougher spots of dried-on food, you may need to use a rougher sponge or the rougher side of a two-sided sponge. Once the board has been thoroughly scrubbed, rinse off all soap residue using cold water. After rinsing, dry the board by hand using a clean towel. Place the board upright to fully dry. Do not place the board flat on a counter or any surface, because any moisture trapped on the underside of the board will not be able to escape and will be absorbed by the wood, causing the board to warp or possibly even crack. So always put the board on its side to fully dry.
All of the cutting boards that I make are finished with a food-safe blend of oil and wax. It's a very good finish for a cutting board. But with time, with use, and with cleaning, that finish eventually gets worn through and needs to be reapplied in some way. That's where conditioning comes in. Every 2 or 3 months, or if you use it a lot, every month, you'll need to recondition the cutting board. There's a few options for this. You can use a commercially made cutting board conditioner, or as a cheaper option and much simpler, you can just use mineral oil. These 16-ounce bottles can be found in any grocery store or drugstore, and it's completely food safe. Now, just one note on the bottle. When you get it, you'll take the lid off and see a film covering over the top. The temptation will be to rip off that film covering. I'm telling you not to do that. If you remove the covering, it's easy to put too much oil on the board. Instead, you should take a thumbtack or something of the like and just put a small hole in the center of the film. That way you can squeeze a small amount out and have good control over the flow. So let's take a look at how to re-oil the board.
Much like washing, oiling a cutting board is a very simple process. Just squeeze some oil onto the surface of the board and rub it in with a rag or paper towel. A little goes a long way, so you don't need to use a lot. As you spread the oil, you will immediately notice a change in appearance. It's amazing how much life the oil brings back to the cutting board's overall appearance. So, when you condition the board, you have the double benefits of adding protection and enhancing the natural beauty of the board. Once the oil has been applied to the entire surface, wipe off any excess with a dry rag or paper towel. The board may still feel oily for a few minutes after conditioning, but don't worry, it will fully dry.
So that's about it. To take care of a wooden cutting board, wash it after every use, and condition it around every 2 months. Thank you, and happy chopping.